Hi everyone! Welcome to our Blue Skies of Palooza assembly of our scrapbook pages. Okay, I am super excited. I know that I did the cutting guide for you. It was up a couple of weeks before today's event, and so now I am hoping we can just put all of our pages together. So we're going to start in this video with layout 1, and my goal is to do layout 1 and layout 2 in one video, and then we'll take a break and then we'll assemble layout 3 and 4. Okay, so here is layout 1. And I'm hoping that you guys have your paper, pulled it out of your bag, and it is all cut and ready to go. Okay, so this is what the pieces look like. So what we're going to do is we are going to follow along from the instruction guide that we uploaded into this group. So hopefully you guys have it either printed or on your iPad or on some kind of a device so that you can see and you can follow along. And when I create my cutting guides, I always include instructions that go step by step, and they show you what you can attach first to build the base of the page, and then page 1, the order to attach all of the pieces, and then on page 2, the order to attach all the pieces and to finish. So I know some people like to read all the details and follow it exactly as it is, even down to every little measurement, and some like to eyeball it. I'm personally an eyeballer, but I write up the instructions for those of you who aren't an eyeballer. So we're going to get started, and we're going to begin by building the base, okay? And the first thing it says is that you are going to attach both the strips of your background and texture paper to the outside edge of the page, okay? So if you see the picture and you follow along, you can see that the skinnier piece goes on page 1, okay? You can use as little or as much adhesive as you like. I'll be honest, I use a lot of adhesive at times. All right, so I am going to turn my paper and I'm going to line up the very bottom corner, and I'm going to hold it down because look, I can rotate now this piece of paper to get it straight because I know that the bottom edge is exactly where I want it, and I will put it down, okay? And next, let's just build one page at a time. That's probably easier in your workspace. All right, so the next thing that you will see is that it's going to require the background and texture paper as well as the zip strip, okay? So I'm going to put my zip strip down first, add my adhesive. There we go. Yeah. Turn my page, line up that bottom corner, and down it goes. Okay, now do you remember when we were, oops, I got it a little off. See, it's easy to do that. I'm gonna lift it up. Nope, I'm just gonna trim the top of my page. Okay, do you remember when we were talking about when you cut that you can get a rough edge and a smooth edge, and that I always try to glue the rough edge down? Well, on this layout, I cut the zip strip off, okay? That's the zip strip we're using, and I ended up with this rough edge. So what I'm gonna do is take my bone folder, and I'm just gonna push it down. I'm just gonna go right across it and make that rough edge nice and smooth, because that does bug me when it's rough. And then I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm going to add it down. Now the reason we're using a white base, even though we're covering the whole thing, is who would want to cover up that entire piece of beautiful textured lagoon cardstock? I certainly would not. So I am building my entire base on a piece of white daisy cardstock. Okay, so the base of page 1 is now done, and we're going to do the base of page 2. And it says that we need to add the lagoon piece. We need to add the grid piece so it lines up. And we're also going to add the zip strip, and we're going to add the 1/4 inch piece of lagoon cardstock. So let's move this out of the way, grab page 2. Now I need to fix this rough edge as well. So if yours is rough, go ahead and fix it. And I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to add adhesive. Now, throughout this process, if you guys find that I am going too fast, don't worry, because number 1, the videos are staying in this group. Number 2, we will be giving breaks in between each video so that you guys will have time to finish up, catch up, take a break, get something to eat. Okay, I did not bring my liquid adhesive in here. That would be the easiest to use on this 1/4 inch strip. But let's double check the photo to make sure I'm doing it right. So then the next thing it says that we're gonna do is we add the pink zip strip next to this piece of background and texture paper, and then the 1/4 inch piece. So grab your zip strip, give it adhesive. Now when I add zip strips, I personally like to have the adhesive go the entire length of the zip strip because I don't like it to get any little bubbles. Even if they're really, really subtle, they bug me. So I make sure on small strips like this that I add the adhesive the entire length. So I'm just gonna push it right up against that edge, and there it goes. Now I'm going to painfully add adhesive to this 1/4 inch piece. Like I said, I should have brought my liquid glue, the liquid Tombow. It would have been a lot easier, but I didn't. So we'll just fake it and do it like this. That's why I always work on a piece of scratch paper. So I want to make sure I get adhesive the whole length. So anywhere I don't see it, I'm going to add that adhesive. I want no ripples. And then I need a little bit on the end. Okay. Now we're going to attach this right down to our layout. So I've tried to have the camera close enough that you can really see what I'm doing, but I know it's not super easy to see the two sides together. So let me set this here. Okay, so you can see how fast this is coming together on the instructions. Okay, we've completely built the base over to this way. Now we just need to build this side of page 2. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the lagoon cardstock and we're gonna add adhesive. Okay, and I'll tell you a little trick I do when I know I have several pieces to set down. I will go ahead and get adhesive on a lot of them, and then they are ready for me to just lay down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the candy apple cardstock, and I want the adhesive to go the whole length of it. Okay, and I'm going to set that aside. And then in the photo, I know that there's also this strip of floral BTP. So again, use as much or as little adhesive as you do, but I kind of use a lot. Okay, so according to the directions, we're working from the outside in, and we are going to lay down the lagoon background and texture paper. Okay, and then, oops. Get it a little crooked. There we go. Lagoon background and texture paper, followed by the candy apple strip. Line it up. And then followed by floral BTP. Easy peasy, right? Okay, so here's the fun part. This area right here is where you're gonna add your photos. Okay, how fun is that? All right, so let's start on page 1 now. And when we look at the instructions, It says to attach the candy apple banner piece flush with the top edge. So here's where we're going to cut our banner. This will be a good refresher. The banner is longer than wider, so when I put it in here, I see, okay, it's 3.5 inches wide. I mean 6.5 inches wide, which means it's 3.25 to the middle. So I'm going to put it on the 3.25 inch mark, and I am going to only go up about 1/2 inch, maybe a little bit more, and then I'll show you how you can do it on your trimmer. I'm going to put the top edge of the trimmer on the line. It's too hard. You can put the top edge of the trimmer on the line, but I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. So I'm going to cut it with scissors. So this is real life scrapbooking. I can't see in there very good, so I'm just going to go from this corner, and I'm just going to go straight up. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same on this side. Okay, so we have our banner piece. Easy, right? All right, it says attach the banner piece so it's flush with the top of the page. So really what I did and where I chose to put it was I didn't want the bottom end of the banner overlapping into any of the flowers. I wanted it right in this groove. So that's how I know where I'm going to place it. So I'm going to add my adhesive, and I'm going to add this piece all the way flush with the top. And so that my banner doesn't hit inside of there. All right, then it says to add the sapphire cardstock next to it, cut at a slant. And again, I am just gonna cut that slant. Boom, got my slant. Add my adhesive. Okay. And I'm just eyeballing it. I'm gonna go a little further over. Okay. Right, now we are ready to add our 2 photo mats. And on this layout, because there were so many colors, I wanted my pictures to have a relaxing place to rest so that they popped out. So I'm using white cardstock photo mats, and in the instruction guide, I tell you what size are these photos, and you'll cut your photos just 1/4 inch smaller to fit on it, okay? And the next thing I wanted to do, because everything is kind of overlapping and clustered and beautiful, we have this flower piece down here and the words are all mixed in. I want to add my next photo mat at a slight angle because I don't want it to hit the flowers, but I also don't want it to just be floating over here. I wanted them to be connected, almost like a photo cluster. And what I'm going to do is not add adhesive to this corner, okay? So I'm going to keep my thumb there, and I'm just going to add adhesive everywhere else. Now, I think this would be a piece that Dana would probably use foam tape and pop up, okay? And like I told you guys, I need to get more pages in an album. So I'm more of a flat Stanley scrapbooker because I take too many photos, and I have, 4 boys and a big family. So that's why my pages are more flat. But certainly, if you wanted to use foam tape and pop that up, you can. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm adding the journaling strips. Now, if you didn't cut these because you have a different way of journaling, just ignore this part. But I am adding them, just laying them down kind of softly. The grid paper makes it so easy to see where to put them. And I kind of want to do it in a way that's not perfectly straight, because I think that's a little bit boring. And then not totally overlapping into this beautiful floral pattern on the page. So I am just staggering them around, and I am going to move this one down just even a smidgy smidge more. Okay, And I like that. So I'm going to close that down. And then we have these little accent strips. And let me grab my foam tape. Okay. I like little accent strips more than tying ribbon because, again, you guys are going to know why. It's because they don't add any bulk. And so I'm going to use glue dots and add them right to the edge, only the edge, of my photo mat so that when I do add the pictures, it's easy. It's easy to slide them under. Another trick would be to just add that glue dot right to the edge of one side so that you can work with it to add your photo and to put it down. And remember, we didn't add any adhesive here, so we can get that on there. Okay, so page 1 is almost done. We need to add gems, but let's move on to page 2. Okay, page 2, from the instructions, you can see that it's going to allow you to have 3 horizontal 6x4 photos plus a 3x4 photo mat right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this photo mat, and again, because it's going to overlap, I'm not going to put any adhesive in that area. I'm just going to put the adhesive elsewhere, and I'm going to lay it down wherever I like it at kind of an angle. Okay, see? Now's the fun part. We're going to pull out some stickers. So if you grab your sticker sheet, the reason we're going to add flowers is because if you look at page 1, we have this beautiful flower cluster arrangement, and there's nothing over here. And you want, in your designs, you want something to pull your eye around the page. So in talking about designs, that's also why I've used the zip strip on both sides of the layout, as well as pulled in the Lagoon cardstock on both sides of the layout and the candy apple cardstock on both sides of the layout. You want there to be flow and connectivity. It's also why we cut this paper down and why we've now added that here so that when it's in your book, it all flows together. See that? We've pulled the paper, the pattern paper from one side right onto the next. So a lot of times I do take the stickers and I pop them up. So we're gonna use, well, this is the one I'm gonna use. You can use whichever one you want. And I'm gonna flip that over and I'm gonna add foam tape. Now, I might use a ton of adhesive on my pages, the papers, to make sure that they stay down really well, but I am kind of stingy on my embellishments. I don't, on my stickers and stuff, I don't use as much adhesive. And a trick for using, I need my non-stick, a trick for using these is to take the sticky off. And a lot of times you can just use your embossing buddy, the little powder thing, but I'm always in a hurry. So I just have this container with some cornstarch or baby powder, whatever you have in it, and I quickly just stick my sticker in, and the whole thing is unsticky now. I give it a blow, and it's ready to go. See how quick and easy was that? So let me save that. Let's take off our adhesive. There we go. And add our little arrangement. Again, I want them to overlap and cluster, so you can decide how you like it. I think I like it just like that. All right, and then a couple more things. I know we had this little piece left. We created the accent on page 1 going across our photo mat, so we're going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to take that sticky off. I wasn't paying attention and I used too much adhesive, so I made it unsticky by sticking it in that powder, and I'm just going to add a glue dot to one edge, and I'm going to set it right down. Look at that. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is we need to add our silver glitter gems. So if you're following along on the page, it says on page 1, finish with 5 glitter gems. I've got them scattered about, or 6. No, that's 5. They're in here too. And then 3 on this page. So let's add some glitter gems. All right. And what I'm going to do is follow the design I see on my page, and I'm also going to create clusters, okay, that are in triangles. So I'm going to put one here, and let's see, I'm going to grab another one here with my scissors. I'm going to use clustering and different sizes. And so then I'm going to move one right down here. So I've got that visual interest for page 1. Now let's add some to page 2. All right, so on page 2, yes, I only used 3 on page 1 and 6 on page 2. I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to add, let's see. So on page 1, I had it going high. So on page 2, I'm going to have it starting out lower. And then I'm going to end over here with higher. So let's make our little visual triangle with a small amount of clustering. Okay. So here we are. Remember, on page 1, we started up. So on page 2, I'm going down, and then I'm going to end over here. 1, and hope I'm staying on screen. I get too much going on, I know. 2, and I'm going to make 2 big ones over here. 3, okay? The reason I use my scissors to scoop them up is because I don't want to pull that sticky back off. All things, weather, temperatures affect how well that sticky tape stays on the back. And so sometimes if you just grab these and pull them off, the little sticky circle will stay. So I just use the tip of my scissors. Okay, so here we are. Page 1, layout 1, pages 1 and 2 are done. All right, I hope you guys like them. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.